Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve podcast takes a close-up look at controversial subject matter and hot-button topics, adding humor, cynicism, and a dose of reality to the stuff we're not supposed to talk about anymore. Politics, religion, sex, gender identity, violence, corruption. Nothing is left unturned in this lighthearted approach to information dissemination. The world is experiencing a pandemic of cowardice. 80% of people do not believe the craziness they've been coerced to agree with. Grab a friend, grab a beverage, and dive in with us as we take on the narrative and blast social stigmas with truth. Here are your hosts, Patriots Ray Amanat and Steve Reed.
Good evening. There we are. It was a blank screen. Sorry about that, everybody. But hey, welcome to Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve. I'm Ray Amanat here in sunny Port Richey, Florida. And my co-host, Mr. Steve Reed, in an undisclosed location somewhere in northern Texas. Thanks, Steve, for the delay and putting me on screen.
I just got too many things I'm juggling today, right?
Okay, whatever. Yeah. So
well, I'll just say we had a technical glitch. So operator error. So
that gong means that we have some breaking news, everybody. That breaking news is the Republicans finally elected a Speaker of the House.
Yes.
His Honorable Mike Johnson from the state of Louisiana. So hopefully we can start getting things done and they can start doing the work of the people.
I'm excited. I think it's going to be a good change.
I want to see what direction the Republicans are headed or what they're going to do with this. So, yes, congratulations to Mike Johnson.
Yep. Everything I've seen of him in the past has been very conservative. So I don't have an issue as of right now, but we'll see. How well does he govern? How well does he lead?
Well, it's nice to see the Republicans all working together like the Democrats do behind one person, showing their support. So hopefully they're getting their act together. So that's a good thing.
Agreed.
Today's show, ladies and gentlemen, we can't talk about this enough because it's a international problem. It's not a national problem. It's not a local problem. This is happening worldwide. And again, we've had many other shows about this, and we've had guests on about this. And the topic is human trafficking. But today's show is going to be a little bit of a twist. Do you know, and in my personal opinion, and I guess we got to put that this is an opinion-based show, but in my personal opinion, coming up with the solution to stopping human trafficking is going to be up to the parents and how and when they talk to their kids. Statistically, kids that are approached to be groomed or trafficked is between the ages of 10, 11 years old to about 15, 16 years old. If your child is anywhere between 7, 8 years old to 12, those are statistics of where a child might be abducted or taken away. It's usually when parents give their kids a little bit more freedoms to ride their bike to a friend's house or to school or something like that. But when we're talking about the 11-year-olds to 16-year-olds, or 15-year-olds for that matter, because they're not driving yet, groomers are looking at these kids. Do they have problems? Are they loners? Do they have low self-esteem? Are they ripe for grooming? So we're going to talk about how do you approach your kids without scaring them and talk to them about this topic that we call human trafficking. Any thoughts on that, Mr. Steve?
A lot of thoughts on that. And I'm surprised that they say the average age is between 11 and 15. I'm surprised that it's not younger than that.
It is all ages, but the ones that get groomed, that's that age.
Yeah, yeah, I understand that. And, Ray, I think you're right. We could talk about this every week and talk about it from different aspects almost every
Mm-hmm.
week and never touch all of the information. 3.5 years ago, the world was hit with a pandemic, and it was a virus that was created in a lab in Wuhan, China. Okay, and in part in North Carolina, but we'll leave it at that. This is yes, this is an opinion-based program, but frankly, I think this is a greater pandemic than what we had with the Chinese virus. I think
The amount of trafficking that's happening worldwide, the numbers are phenomenal. I mean, it's mind blowing.
yeah,
How much of a billion trillion dollar industry this is,
yeah,
where people are making money,
exactly.
taking advantage of our kids, and
Well,
you know,
i- if you
there's a go ahead.
if you take the money out of it, there will still be a lot of trafficking. But you're right, the cartels are making billions of dollars when they're trafficking kids. Or one of the videos that we showed last week, it started out that it was human trafficking, then it went to drugs, and now it's back at human trafficking. But when you take the money out of it, yeah, the cartels won't make any money, but you still have warped people, sick individuals that are trying to solicit sex from kids or whatever,
Right.
not just sex trafficking, but child labor and so forth. So that will always be going on. But when you
There's three parties. There's the person selling, there's the victim that's being sold, and then
Yep,
there's the person that's purchasing or buying.
exactly, exactly.
And if we can educate our public on what to look for, what are the signs of trafficking, and make them more aware of how a groomer might approach you so that you know, okay, this is somebody I can't trust,
Yep,
then we can reduce those numbers. And then we just got to find these other buyers and put them in jail, put them on a sex offender registry,
yeah,
just everything.
exactly.
You know, that's a recommendation of mine to our listening and viewing audience. Have you gone to the sex offender registry and looked at how many sex offenders live in your neighborhood or
Yep,
around your child, your
exactly,
family?
exactly. It is insane. And the sad thing is the sex offender list, it covers all different kinds of sex offender issues. It's not just trafficking issues, but there
Hmm.
may be some things that I'm sure that there are some things that are misreported, but it's a pretty broad spectrum. I hope that there's a way to sort through and to figure out who the real sex offenders are and what the action was, what the method was, or what was actually done.
It's funny, when I lived back in St. Louis, my neighbor had some close friends that they would bring over to their house all the time. It was the female that was more of a friend of that family
Hmm.
than her boyfriend, but the boyfriend would always come to their parties and they would invite them in. And they had a young daughter that was probably at the time 4 or 5 years old, and uh, she had some bruising between her legs, um, after a visit, and it was, you could say aggressive rough play or whatever you want to call it, but it was in the bruising was in inappropriate areas on her body,
Yeah.
So I recommended that, have you checked the sex offender registry? And he checked, and lo and behold, this guy that they invited to their house to break bread with and have meals with was on the registry, and it broke up a friendship because they said to the lady that was the friend of the family, he can't come here anymore. And she, instead of saying, I understand, said, well, if you don't want to see him, then you won't see me. And she kind of stood by her man's side that had inappropriately touched a child. So, people need to wake up. You never know who you're inviting into your home.
Yeah, exactly.
What they're capable of doing, and if they befriend your child, that's when the grooming begins.
Yeah.
And you don't know what level he can take that, or she can take that. So
Yeah, it is sad, and well, I'm not going to get too graphic, but I think ancient Israel from 3,000 years ago would have had some solutions for some of this stuff and would have put a lot of this trafficking stuff to a screeching halt very quickly. But that's another story.
They're kind of dealing with that now. For all the
Yeah.
people the babies that got their heads cut off, the women
Yeah.
that got raped and everything.
Exactly.
They're taking care of it.
Yeah. But I mean, anyway, I'm not going to go down that road. Actually, I
Right.
started, but I'm not going to any further. So, Ray, there are a lot of different things that we can do, but I think the main function or the main purpose for this program is really education and giving people resources, what we need to be aware of as we are moving forward. How do we protect our children? So, we had a great conversation last week with Kyle Sims, who was just at the Texas-Mexico border a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking about some of the things with trafficking. It's a never-ending problem. So why don't I do this? Why don't I show our first video, and we'll take a look at that and move forward with this.
Let's set the stage.
Well, you set the stage. Well, actually, executive producer Debbie is setting the stage since she sent me the video.
San Diego ranks among the top cities in the country for human trafficking. The victims are often minors that are lured away from home, and local leaders want to warn everyone about what to watch out for. Fox 5's Juliet Vara joins us now, and she spoke to a survivor. She joins us with the subtle signs that often go unnoticed. Juliet.
Yeah, a takeaway from tonight's meeting is to actually talk to your children about human trafficking. The survivor that we spoke to was in tonight's meeting. She says it's not like stranger danger. She actually met her perpetrator when she was 14 years old at a mall, hanging out with her friends. He love bombed her for months, and when she trusted him, he sold her. Up to 8,000 children are victims every single year of human trafficking in San Diego County. For 3.5 years, Keelan Washington was one of them. Her perpetrator, her 19-year-old boyfriend.
He came up with a conversation with me talking about how he wasn't able to pay his bills. He was behind on car notes, and he knew a way for me to make some money. And so he introduced this idea of selling myself for sex.
Then he kidnapped her, sold her in over 12 states and online, and began torturing her.
Where now I'm sitting in ice baths and being hung from the shower with the belt. Like, it just continued to get worse.
Keelan spoke at Monday night's virtual town hall meeting on human trafficking hosted by Supervisor Jim Desmond. It highlighted information for parents. A key takeaway was talk to your children about the red flags.
This is the time for every parent, teacher, community member to stop, pay attention.
Tell children perpetrators use social media, Snapchat, Instagram to befriend them. For young boys, gaming rooms like Fortnite are targeted spaces. Insist your children never tell anyone where they live or go to school.
I think a lot of times we think that it's this, you're thrown into the van or it's taken, or we tell our kids stranger danger, right? And that's where we go wrong. Traffickers are looking for that. They're looking for broken homes. They're looking for kids who are seeking validation.
Keelan, a mother herself now, has these tough conversations with her daughter. She wishes her mother had known to do the same.
If my mom knew how to have the conversation with me about trafficking, I may have not been trafficked.
San Diego is actually ranked among the 13 worst hotspots for human trafficking in this country, and that's according to the FBI. The average age of victims is 16 years old, and as for Keelan, whom we met in our story tonight, she was able to escape when she was about 17 and a half years old. We're live tonight along the Embarcadero. I'm Juliette Vara, Fox 5
News. Ray, I want to share a little story with you.
Sure.
Several years ago, I was involved in doing some group coaching. And we had a group of girls that were in their early to mid 20s that were all living in a halfway house. I'm not going to mention any names, any cities, anything of that sort. We've got some privacy issues that I have to be very sensitive to. One of the girls that I was working with, and this is over a 3-weekend period, I called her Candy. Her name has been changed, obviously. But Candy, when she was about 13 years old, her mom had gone through a divorce and had remarried. Her dad was a typical laborer in the agriculture world. Good, upright, upstanding man. Okay, just really good, but very soft-spoken man. Mom was a nurse, and so she worked one of the after-hour shifts, like 3 to 11 or something like that. Well, Candy was at home one day, and her stepbrother was out playing football or whatever. And her stepbrother's friend, quote unquote, came over to visit. And they had a little barn in the back of their property. And in this barn was an old 63, 64, 65 Corvair. And dad and stepbrother, or stepdad and stepbrother, were working on it. Well, this friend, I call him Bubba, came over and says, "Hey, can you show me the car?" So they go back to the barn, and they're doing that. And this friend starts insinuating some things. Time ended. A few days later, he comes back, same scenario, but this time the friend starts getting a little bit aggressive with Candy. Keep in mind, she's 12, 13 years old. This continued to progress until he started to molest her, and then he started to rape her. This became a pattern, and then he started introducing drugs, introducing alcohol. One day he said, "Let's go for a ride," and they took off to a major city, someplace in Texas, and he sold her into prostitution. And that's where she lived for 10 years.
And that's sadly how a lot of this gets started.
Yeah.
It's who you know and who gets introduced to you in your life, in your neighborhood, in your family, and what are their intentions.
Yeah. But it was, Candy was a sweet, sweet girl. By this time, she's 24, 25 years old. And I'm helping her deal with the emotional trauma as a result. And she did very well in getting through things. Thankfully, she was arrested. But the challenge that people have, and they don't realize how apparently innocent that sort of thing is, but it happens more than we realize. It doesn't have to happen in a foreign country. It could happen in small town America or big city America. It happens all the time. Unsuspecting. That's why parents need to have conversations with their kids.
Absolutely.
So
that means we have to go to a commercial break, and then we can come back. We can come back and continue this discussion. Those of you that have any questions or comments you'd like to make, if you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube, please feel free to ask a question or leave a comment. We would love your feedback as well.
Here we go.
We'll be right back. That's what I want. Latch on as soon as you can, make it hard. If I stand on one leg, can you yank me off balance? Yeah. If I stand feet wide, can you pull me off balance? Come on, what's the matter with you? How you doing? What was the first thing she did? She walked away, she took her eyes off of me. She looked away. I take her purse, I run. She goes to security, she goes to law enforcement. They're gonna say, well, what did he look like? And you're gonna be like, it happened so fast, I didn't see him coming. You didn't see him coming because I made you feel uncomfortable and you took your eyes off me and walked away. The whole point is, and this does not mean I want you to go and flirt and talk to the person, or I don't want you to go, I see you. You know, I just want you to, that's a cool shirt. I'd like to get that because my kids are in soccer. I'm letting you know I'm aware of you. I'm letting you know I can describe you.
How ye doing?
So, everything that we do is to prevent being taken away, being abducted, which is the worst case scenario. There's a lot of instances that I don't even have to work that hard. I can con you into walking away with me. And once I've got you far enough away from family and friends or any other bystanders that could be a potential witness, then the physical abduction happens.
Yeah.
And you have to be aware of it ahead of time to prevent that from escalating to that. But then also, it's the what if. What if you're at the wrong place at the wrong time and you became a target? How do you deal with that? And we offer lectures and seminars all over the country on how not to be a target for any type of violence. In order for you to help us, you can use this QR code, which will take us to our website as well at heroesinaction.us. But the QR code enables us to raise the money by making a one-time or recurring donation to continue providing our lectures and seminars for free to the general public. So we do need your help, whether it's $5, $10, $50 a month. Pick a number, whatever you can afford. Go to the website using this QR code, make that donation, and that will go a long way with what we do in not just our communities here in Florida, but also we'll be doing seminars outside of the state and coming to a neighborhood near you.
So, Ray, why don't you give our listening audience your website and your email address?
So our website is heroesinaction.us, and my email address is ray@heroesinactionnow.org, and heroes is spelled HEROES, in actionnow.org, and that stands for helping everyone resist oppression every day safely.
I love that little acronym thing. I'm impressed.
I'm all about the acronym.
Did you think of that, or did executive producer Debbie think of that?
Oh, that's all me.
Only I am so impressed. So, Ray, we've got another video that I'd like to share, and then we'll talk some more about that side of things as well. Let me cue this thing up. And here we go.
Human trafficking is basically modern-day slavery, and it's happening in places you might not realize. I had the chance to talk with the FBI agent in charge for Nevada today about how to spot it and what to do when you see it.
This is going to shock you. Most human trafficking people are United States citizens.
Nevada's top FBI agent told me sex trafficking is all around us, and he needs us all to be eyes and ears to stop the growing problem.
You might be the person that spots something like that and have the opportunity to call the police, call the FBI, and report that suspicious activity that allows us to act and save a life.
It's hard to wrap your head around when you start to consider the numbers and how large it is and how prevalent it is and what is actually happening on a daily basis.
Keith McCoy is a citizen advocate for spotting human traffickers. He says the signs are subtle, but they're there.
There are signs that you can find. A lot of times it'll be someone who's dressed much differently than the person that they're with. Maybe it's a female who is a little more dressed up than the gentleman she's with.
So think about the restaurant industry, cleaning services, construction sites. All of them are potential locations for people that are being trafficked.
And Rouse told me, despite what you may think, Las Vegas is no more busy with human trafficking than any other American city.
So really, there's no difference between Las Vegas and other areas. This is not just a U.S. problem, this is an international problem. And we'll see human trafficking take place in all of the 50 states. All 56 field offices of the FBI are actively engaged in countering human trafficking.
Human traffickers prey on vulnerable young people, often online, and eventually use fear to keep them enslaved.
The majority of people who are trafficked are groomed into trafficking. They are young children who are runaways, who are maybe in disenfranchised homes. They're at-risk youth, and these people will go online. They will start conversations in chat rooms. They will empower these women to feel as if they're loved or they're cared for.
And again, men and women are equally victims of human trafficking, and in about half the cases, human trafficking feeds a growing illegal labor market.
So it's not just about sex trafficking. There is a lot of labor trafficking that's going on as well.
Absolutely, yes.
And here's one of the sad things. There are some national organizations that you would think would be very anti-trafficking, that you think they are very conservative when they are in fact very pro-illegal immigration and allowing trafficking to take place.
So, do you care to name any of those organizations?
I am not going to say anything about the National Chamber of Commerce that is very pro-illegal immigration because it's supporting big business as they come through. Yeah. So.
And anyway. Is there anyone else?
Well, those are a couple. That's probably one of the bigger ones that people would not suspect. So that is not an indictment on local chambers of commerce. This is the national organization that is very pro trafficking or illegal immigration, which is one of the big sources for trafficking. So, Ray, I've got a couple of sites or a couple of things I'm scrolling across the screen. Let's talk about these for just a brief moment, and then we'll continue on. HumanTraffickingSearch.org. How did you come up with that?
All right, so when I was doing my research, I looked at website after website after website, and most of the websites that are trying to, quote, help with preventing trafficking they had basic information, and then make a donation. But what are they doing with that donations? With Heroes in Action, we're actually going out in public and doing hands-on seminars and lectures, educating the public on how to prevent it. And we demonstrate everything that we do. A lot of these other foundations, they didn't. I just looked at their websites and I didn't see anything that really, educated me. I found this one, and this is probably the best website that I found, and they're on Facebook as well. But that's HumanTraffickingSearch.org. And they have components for teachers. They have components for parents on, and along with videos, and we're going to play one of those videos from their site in a little bit. but you play the video with your kids, and then they give you step-by-step guidelines on how to talk to your kids. Of course, 11 years old or older, you don't want to scare the younger kids, but how to talk to your kids and how to filter questions and how to have solutions and what other resources can you find or need in the event your child is being trafficked or groomed for trafficking. They give you all of those resources for counseling services and things like that. If you go to the National Human Trafficking Hotline, put their 800 number that we've got listed scrolling, 888-373-7888. They're also a great resource on what to do and where to go to get the right kind of help. If you don't have resources, they have all the resources on a nationwide basis that they can tell you where you can go in your own city or state. So no, this website was a wealth of information that I recommend every school teacher and every parent go to, humantraffickingsearch.org. You'll get a great education from just researching this website.
And it's sad that we have to have a website like that.
It is.
But so, Ray, why don't we go to another commercial break, and then we'll show that last video that you were referencing, and we will go from there and continue our disturbing conversation. I'll just put it that way.
Life isn't always sunshine and roses. Sometimes it's full of roadblocks. The kind that aren't as easy to fix as filling a hole or repairing a car. Personal roadblocks are another thing altogether. Why do I feel stuck? The same things anger me every time. Why am I doing this anyway? Fixing it yourself can be frustrating and confusing. And if more than one person is involved, DIY might mean destroy it yourself. Maybe it's time for another solution. Steve Reed shines a light on your roadblocks and helps you find the best way forward for you. Stephen Reed Ministries, bringing light and hope for a victorious life. To overcome your roadblocks, schedule an appointment with Steve Reed today.
You know, I started coaching back in the early 90s, and I was doing things, helping people with understanding their personality temperaments, not the abnormal things, the schizophrenia and paranoia and those kinds of things, but just who are we? And in 2009, I started really shifting my focus a lot when I'm dealing with individuals on trauma coaching, and I've had it's not pleasure. I've had the honor of working with people, helping them get through things like abandonment, rejection, victimization of all sorts, abuse of all sorts. I mentioned Candy a minute ago. People that have been molested, raped, sold into sex trade, etc. And it's not one of my favorite things to do. I will tell you, I don't like doing it. But I really feel like God has equipped me to be able to help people in a very unique way to get past some of those traumas. And if you don't deal with those traumas, then no matter what relationships you're going to be in going forward, you will continue to have those speed bumps or roadblocks, or the junk that you sweep under the carpet is going to keep coming up. So we've got to deal with those emotional issues.
So you made the comment about who are you? And when we look at trafficking at the age of 11 through 15, 16 years old, that's the age range where kids are struggling to find out who they are.
Exactly.
They don't know where they fit in. Are they the jock? Are they the cheerleader? Are they, what clique do they fit in? It's a journey for them on where do I belong? And if you do come from a struggling, broken home,
Yes.
and you have a groomer that comes out there and makes you feel good and makes
Yep.
you feel loved and starts
Yep.
giving you the identity that you think you want,
Right.
but then they just flip it on you once they got you. When they've got you hooked on drugs, when they've got you doing things that you're embarrassed about and you don't want to share with your family, let me tell you something. No matter what you do or how embarrassing it gets, this is me talking to the kids right now. No matter what you do or how embarrassing it gets, your parents or family has unconditional love for you and will do anything to help you build a successful, healthy life. These traffickers, they're just using you. And, you know, when you're of no more use to them, they don't care if you live or die.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And that's the unfortunate side of things. So, Ray, let's go to this final video and we'll talk about that.
What if you could read people's minds?
Hey, what's up, girl? Can I give you a ride? Beautiful girl like you shouldn't be waiting on no damn bus. Come on, let's take a spin. Girl, you know I can change your whole life. Come on. You know you need some help. You need some protection. You're a real man like me to protect you, girl. Hey, baby. You can do this today now. I know you can. You gonna make daddy some money today? I know you can. Go on in there and do what you gotta do.
Just relax. Come on, relax. It's okay. I'm not gonna hurt you. I just want to get to know you before we do anything. You're really sweet. You are. You're really sweet. I bet you have a boyfriend, don't you?
Damn, that's what I'm talking about.
You're hurting me!
Unfortunately, we can't read minds, but we can learn not to believe anything a pimp or buyer says. One of them only wants money, the other only wants sex, and it is illegal. Pimps and buyers are doing hard time, and people are finding out about their dirty little secrets. It's all about the choices you make. It's never okay to buy or sell a kid for sex. You can help make sure this never happens. Don't grow up to be a pimp or buyer. You will be caught. Make sure you never become part of the problem. Become a part of the solution. It's all about the choices you make.
So for our listeners that don't get to see the video, Steve, if you could put the website up again.
Yeah.
You can go to this website, which is humantraffickingsearch.org, or you can go to YouTube and look up that video on the YouTube page as well. And some of the visuals that they had, for those of you that are listening, while the person was talking to the young adult, they had little bubbles or balloons that were really what they were thinking. So it's like, hey girl, how you doing? And there's the bubble of, you look like somebody that I can make some money with. So it gives you a deeper visual of what's really going on. I think it's a well-made video that everyone should get a chance to watch. And, this is something that you could share with your kids as long as they're age appropriate. And then we've got a list of questions that are recommended by the website that you as a parent or as an educator can talk about. But you want to arm yourself with resources in case you do come across somebody that is trafficked, and make sure you've got social workers, counselors, or 800 hotline numbers that you can utilize to get them the help that they need. That National Human Trafficking Hotline again was 888-373-7888.
And the sad thing, Ray, is that unfortunately a lot of our local police departments are not equipped to deal with the emotional side of things. They may be able to do the investigation. Sometimes they can break up the prostitution rings and rescue the kids. More and more, we're seeing it's more difficult for them. But the aftermath of this is it's horrible. It is horrible. Yes. So we've got a few questions, but before we take those or look at these questions to think about, let's go to one final break, and we will then wrap things up. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go.
Entertainment expands your horizons, takes you on fantastic adventures, challenges your skills. Independent media never looked so good. Welcome to a new sphere of influence. Our words mean business. Traditional families are honored, and the American flag still flies.
Thank you, OBBM Network, for carrying us on all of their other streaming sites like iHeartRadio, Rumble, what are some of the other ones?
Spotify,
yeah,
Apple, iTunes, and more. So we're on all the major platforms. So we're excited to be there. So anyway,
search for us, find us, and follow, share.
Right.
We like to get our audience up to into the thousands, then 100,000s, and then millions. We want.
And on Rumble, you can find us at Taboo Talk TV with Ray and Steve. So it's Taboo Talk TV with Ray and Steve. So we are very honored to be there. So yes. Ray, let's talk about some things. You sent me some questions. So what did I think about the video, or these questions?
So these questions are these questions are for parents and school educators that if they show the video as a unit to talk about human trafficking, that they can ask their kids. First one is, what did you think about the video? Did it make you feel awkward, uneasy? Do you not care? What did you think, Steve, since you've watched it a few times now?
Incensed. I had flashbacks to Candy. And when I was done working with her, actually about midway through the time that I was working with her, I wanted to get a tire iron and head to that little town and find Bubba and beat the sound effect inserted here. That would have been too good. That's one of my
sound effects.
that would have been too good for him. But watching this, frankly, it brought back some hard memories. And I've had several people like Candy that I've worked with where there have been some devastating things like that. So parents need to watch the video. Teachers, Scout troops, Boy Scout, Girl Scout troops need to watch these things together.
By asking this question, what did you think of the video? It also kind of gives the adults a way to gauge on how they respond or how they react, and based on that, you can get an idea of who might be being trafficked at that time.
Exactly.
The next question is, what do you know about trafficking? So you're asking the kids what they know about it. What is their take on trafficking? We as adults hear about it all the time. We see it in movies. We see it on the news. We have discussions about it, but guess who doesn't have discussions about it? The kids that are being trafficked. If you had this type of discussion with the child where they have a better understanding of what trafficking is, what it looks like, and what the outcome can be, then the kids might choose not to be groomed or trafficked and let the appropriate adults or trusted adults know so that they can get the help they need to not be swayed into experimenting with drugs, sexuality, so on and so forth.
Yep. So trafficking is rampant, and it's a lot worse than what we really realize. So what do you think about the children in the video? This is our next question that moms and dads or teachers, facilitators need to ask their student audience. What did you think about the children in the video?
Do you think they're weak? Do you think they're vulnerable? Do you think they're, not smart? Whatever you can think of. We don't want to put a lot of bad labels to it, but I want to know what the kids would say and what they think. And do you think they're making a good choice or not? So this goes back with choices. Is it going to sabotage your future, or is it going to lead it to success? And by getting in the car or by doing what this person says, that's going to take you down that dark road that you don't know what that outcome is going to be.
And you have to wonder, Ray, where were the parents when these kids were growing up younger, and what would make a 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old think that it's okay to get into a stranger's car?
Well, if their life in their current home situation is, pardon my French, but down the toilet or crap, where they live in a rundown home and they don't get to have the nice clothing or the nice shoes or the jewelry that other kids have. And then this person is saying that they can give that all to me. So that's the contrast. They say, I can give you a great life. You can have all the money that you want.
Yeah.
But all that money is going to go to him.
Yep.
That's what they don't realize. It's not
him or her.
Life. Or her. Yes.
Okay. Now, Ray, I got to tell you a happy story with all of this. I hate to say it, this is actually kind of depressing to me. But I met a young man. He's about 35 years old, young black guy in D.C. that he is like you. He teaches boxing and other self-defense type things. And he's got a mission of helping a lot of these inner city kids. So one of the things that he does is as soon as school lets out in the DC school districts, the next week he starts a boxing camp and he runs the entire summer. And I asked him last week, I said, okay, the young people that are coming to your camp, are they typically from broken homes? He says the vast majority of them. I said, are dads in the homes? He says, the vast majority, there is no dad. So these pimps and these other people that are out there trying to solicit kids and so forth, they're filling that role, unfortunately, of that father figure. Right. And so thankfully, I know the things that you are doing.
If you notice in the video, the guy said, go take care of this, daddy, make daddy proud. He used the word daddy. So he's putting himself in that male role model for that kid.
Yeah, absolutely. So what you are doing with kids and moms and dads and so forth is I commend you for doing that. And my friend in DC, I don't have permission to use his name, but there are programs out there that are good, healthy programs to help protect our kids. So what should people do if they know someone who's involved in either side of the trafficking problem? What do people do?
Well, call that 800 number that we posted. Talk to a trusted adult, somebody that they feel comfortable with sharing information so that they can get guidance on how to get the right kind of help. Talk to your school counselor. It's finding a trusted adult more than anything to get the right kind of help. And again, I'm going to go back to no matter what choices you make, how embarrassed you are by those choices, because you may have experimented with drugs, you may have had sex for the first time or numerous times. Your family should unconditionally love you, care for you, and get the right kind of help. And if they don't, then you need to find trusted adults that can get you the right kind of help, which is why we've got this National Human Trafficking Hotline with the number 888-373-7888. I'm actually going to take this website and this hotline number and put it on my website.
Good for you.
I liked it that much that I believe, and we'll put it on the Taboo Talk Facebook page as well.
Excellent. And you get involved in a local church. Generally, people on staff can help you with those sorts of discussions, conversations, or maybe a youth pastor or a youth minister, youth leader that can help with those sorts of things. And if they are not equipped, then have them reach out to Ray or myself, and we can help them get equipped for all of these sorts of things. So,
big brother, big sister, if your child does not have an adult role model in their life that's a male or a female, you can go to Big Brother, Big Sister, and that's at least putting you in a situation where you're surrounding yourself with good people that want to build your self-esteem and confidence and be successful in life.
And a more healthy environment all the way around. So more positivity with everything. So, Ray, I hate to say this, but we are out of time. Another great episode. I hate to say it, is a little on the depressing side, but thankfully we've got some resources and some answers that we can share with people. So folks, make sure you share this information with other people, with youth groups or church groups, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, everything. This kind of information needs to get out so that the kids are protected in every way possible. And so, Ray, I'm gonna challenge you once again, you and executive producer Debbie. In the future, I think we need to continue this with some more information about those people that have special needs, and how do we protect the special needs community from these sorts of things as well. So just put that one in the back of your mind. So, folks, it's been real. I hope you have a fabulous, fabulous remainder of the week. And don't keep us a secret. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors and your countrymen, and pray for our country, pray for our kids, pray for our leaders, that we get back on the right track and get back to good, solid, healthy family values. So,
thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week on Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve.
And thanks again to executive producer Debbie for her amazing work. See you guys.
Thank you for joining us on today's episode of Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve. If you have suggestions for topics you would like us to discuss, or you would like to become a sponsor, reach out to us today at Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve at gmail.com. In the meantime, check out the other amazing programs on OBBM Network on all your favorite podcast platforms. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Join us again for another fun and informative opinion-based episode This is Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve.